is a podcast.
Welcome to the first episode of the Sports and Culture Podcast, underneath the umbrella of Enough with the BS Podcast. On today's episode, you will hear from one of Greenville's brightest stars, Angela Hunt. We talk about the big game between the hometown Clemson Tigers and her son team, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. We will dive into and get her advice for parents as far as recruiting, mentoring, and coach selection. You will hear about her incredible business, Coach for Pride, and how influential she has been in the upstate. So get ready for the show, because it starts in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to a brand new episode and the first episode of the Sports and Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Butler from Enough with the BS Podcast. And this is something new that we're doing just for the company, Sports and Culture. I think you guys are going to love it. And also, we're starting off our series, which is our Sports Mothers of the Month. And I believe I have one of the best ones on the line right now. I have on the line with me a true role model of any women and not just for the upstate. She is founder and CEO of Coach with Pride, author, graduate of USC, and recognized as one of Greenville's best and brightest young professionals, but a mother first, Miss Angela Pride. Angela, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that wonderful introduction there.
No problem. From what I read, it's not doing you any justice. I wish I could have made it longer and better. But we're going to just thank you so much for making time to come on the show. I know you guys are busy getting ready to go to Dallas tomorrow to go see your son, which we're going to get into in a moment. But I just wanted to start everything off by just thanking you so much for making time for me. I truly appreciate it.
And not a problem at all, Tyler. Thank you so much for having me on the show, for welcoming me on the show. I'm excited about what we're going to chat about today.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's go ahead and start everything off. Can you speak on your emotions just by being a parent, watching your child on the biggest stage of his young career thus far?
Oh, man, I tell you what. I probably could talk too long about that, but it has just been nothing short of a blessing. I mean, just to watch, my boys have played football since 6 and 7, and now to watch them in college, and one at the D1 level, Power 5 level, and the other one at the D1 level as well, HBCU. It's two different stories, but I tell you what, their journeys are definitely individual. But it's been a blessing to just watch it. I mean, to know that the fruits of their labor. Me and their dad, of course, have pushed them, have taken them to practice, and have been hands on in our approach with our student athletes. But at the same time, knowing the hard work that they both have put in has just been phenomenal to watch, and now to see them reap some of the rewards. And now, like you mentioned, we headed off to Dallas tomorrow for the college football playoffs. I never in the years thought I would be here, but what a blessing it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we spoke about this briefly on the phone, but a lot of parents don't realize the type of work that you have to put in with your children before they even get to a coach. Can you explain what you meant by that from yesterday?
Oh, wow. Well, you know what, Tyler, that's a great question, and it's a good segue into the fact that me and my husband just started our own sports consulting agency to try to help parents be more empowered and more equipped, because as you just stated, it's not just about your kid going out and playing their respective sport. It is so much about being hands-on as a parent, being proactive as a parent, making sure that they have the right grades, because true leaders have to be leaders on the field and off the field. And so, that was kind of our hands-on approach with our sons, making sure academically they were, making the grades that they need to in order to perform. And when you talk about other coaches looking at them, we wanted to put them in a position to where we knew that they were going to do, and they were empowered and equipped to do what they needed to do on the field. But when you talk about recruiting and other coaches being interested, they have to have other attributes as well, other characteristics characteristics that coaches seek out to make sure that they're going to be able to go to that next level and succeed as well. And so we've just been hands-on with making sure that our boys have dotted every I and crossed every T in order to get to where they are today.
Absolutely. And that's a good segue to my next question that I had. As part of recruiting, and I'm sure you know, that's what you guys do within your company, winning over the parent is very pivotal. What was it about Brian Kelly that won over you guys?
Well, and I'm going to be honest with you, Tyler, it really wasn't so much the coach. You know, that's one of the things that we talk about, you know, that your child needs to look at schools that have their major. They need to look at schools because coaches come and coaches go. Look at what happened at Florida State and Jimbo Fisher, right? So he went with the money, and coaches can do that, whereas kids are penalized. But at the same time, I think you have to look at an institution is your child going to be a good fit there? Is your child going to be able to, you know, again, meet the right group of people? You go on these visits and you see the students and you meet some of the counselors and things like that, but you really need to be interviewing that coach and that school as well as them interviewing you. And I don't think enough parents, again, are proactive in those areas where, you know, again, we knew that Brian Kelly was a good coach, but at the same time, we wanted to make sure that our son was going to be able to go to the University of Notre Dame, which is 10 hours away from where we reside currently, and be able to still thrive mentally and physically. So that was some of the things that we examined before my son made his decision on his school of choice.
Yeah. Now, I know, and this is kind of was on track but off track. As I look at the NCAA now, there's a lot of penalties and a lot of students getting in trouble by especially 5-star, 4-star athletes where these schools are coming into the houses of the mom and dad and offering money or a place to work or a place to stay in substitution for their child coming to play for their universities. Just being around the college realm, have you guys ever experienced anything like that or at least prevented it from happening?
No, I can honestly say that all the coaches that recruited us really did have some pretty decent ethics and morals, and they didn't violate anything like that. But at the same time, we are believers ourselves, and so with that being said, I would not want to do anything that's going to jeopardize my son's chances, at this level or at the next level. But I'm aware that it happens. It happens all the time. I talk to people all the time, oh, they moved up here, or, oh, they, this, that, and the other. And I can't speak to someone else's needs or situations, but we all know when those types of situations turn sour that it's never good for the athlete or the parent. So, thank God we've not encountered anything on that level, but I do know that it's happening. It's just so much that happens that can't necessarily be monitored. But, like I said, from my standpoint, I know what God has for my children is for them, so I don't feel like we have to cut any corners or do any underhanded things in order to get them the things that they need, So that's just my take on it.
Absolutely. And I know I discovered yesterday you guys are a household full of Dallas Cowboy fans. You yourself is one by default. But how cool is it that Troy gets to play in the home of the Dallas Cowboys on Saturday?
Oh, my word. I mean, even just from him being there, he arrived in Dallas on Sunday. I could write you a book on just the joy that I know that my young man, because he was born into being a Dallas Cowboy fan, so he is a legitimate, authentic fan almost from birth. I have a picture of him when he was probably about one in a Dallas Cowboy little suit, and his sister had on a Dallas Cowboy cheerleading suit. So, but anyway, I can tell his emotions. Troy is very disciplined, very serious, very focused young man, but the grins and the smiles that I've seen on his face just being at Texas Stadium, being able to have the run of that place, being able to practice in their actual facility, and just, I don't even want to talk about him playing in the facility, but it has just been nothing short of just, I don't even know, just a God thing is what I'm going to call it, because, again, you dream of things like that. As a kid, you're looking at the Cowboys. I remember when Texas Stadium was built, they had went from the old stadium to Jerry's World now. And so it's just so many little nooks and crannies, and he's examining every single one. So it's like a childhood dream for him to be able to go and play at Texas Stadium. And, nothing short of, we're just all excited. All of my Cowboys are going tomorrow as well. And they are just super excited to be there and to just experience something like this. Just the things that people dream of and wish that they can be a part of. And we're actually going to be living it starting tomorrow for ourselves. And Troy already living it now. So I'm sure he is ecstatic. And we are just super excited to be and blessed to be able to share this opportunity with him.
Absolutely. And once again, I have Angela Pride on the line with me today. Now, I know that Troy's not the only athlete of the house. Chance is actually a 3-star athlete at AT&T. And one of your daughters ran track. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yes. I have my baby girl runs track. She's a high school athlete right now, track and field. And you're right, Chance is at North Carolina A&T State University, and they just won the Celebration Bowl. They actually played in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
They did.
In
yes.
Atlanta. So, again, like when you talk about living dreams, like going to places where professional athletes are actually competing, it's just, I don't know. It is in their DNA, but we push our kids really hard. We require a lot out of them. And, as I stated earlier, if they don't have the academic side, there is no extracurricular side. So they've done their part, you know what I mean? And so now just watching them be able to reap some of the benefits, some of the fruits of their labor is just a blessing. And we're all, again, excited. It's real difficult in our household. It's very competitive on any front. I don't care if you're playing bingo or Uno or bowling. We're a competitive family, and we go in to win, and I'm just excited that they are, winning at their prospective sports right now. And you talked about my baby girl being a track and field athlete. She doesn't even know her potential because she's the baby. So much attention has been focused on Troy and Chance and my oldest daughter, who's an entertainer. She kind of just, but she's good and she doesn't even know it. So she's a hurdler in track and field.
Wow.
And again, doing her thing as well, keeping her grades right, because again, if you don't have the grades, you're not competing in our home. So,
Absolutely.
It's just been a blessing, Tyler. It just really, I can't even describe it to you, but it's just what we do in all honesty. I mean, we wake up to be the best. We wake up to compete. And that's what you're going to see when you see my sons on the field. That's what you're going to see when you see me doing a workshop or a seminar, and now bringing in the sports consulting with my husband. That's just what you're going to get from us as far as, trying to just be our best selves.
Yeah. Now, as a parent, how do you know when your child has it? Like you just come out and say, you know what, he is really, really good. Is there a certain age where you can pick that up at with the child?
Well, you know what? My husband probably could answer this question a lot better than me because he does have that ability to see that type of talent. But I'm going to just be transparent with you. For me, Troy started playing football at 7, right? Mm-hmm. And Troy played on the defensive side of the ball when he first started playing because this was his first time out the gate, and his coach just put him on defense. And I, being a mom, this is my baby, was super nervous and was football and pads. I don't know if we're ready for this. I don't know if he needs to do this. But when I saw him hit another kid, I said, oh, okay. I may need to worry about that other kid instead of worrying about my child. But at the same time, one thing that my husband has taught me is, as pertaining to sports, it's not necessarily about whether they have it, because an athlete can be mediocre and really develop their skill set, and that's truly what it should be about. But we've watched our kids do it at every level. We've watched them from termite to peewee to midget to middle school to high school, and when I say excel at their prospective sport, then you've got to keep in mind too, Chance was a 3-sport athlete. He had wrestling. He did track and field as well, and football. And Troy was a 2-sport athlete, and he actually did a little basketball in high school as well. But I just think that we need to allow our kids to do the thing, like to allow them to do everything when they're little, when they're small, so they can develop what they like. And then if you're blessed like we are, then they end up being good at everything, and then you're like, okay, you got to pick.
Right.
But I do think that some kids, I don't think my kids were phenoms, but what I will say and just reiterate is that when they can do it at every level, that's something you need to pay attention to. Because sometimes when they're young and they're at that little pee-wee rec league level, you know, everybody's kind of doing the same thing, or everybody may be on the same level. But by the time they get to that middle school level and you start to see separation, and then high school, the same